Welcome to Fantasy Now Plus live on your Monday at noon. This is June 30th, the last day of June. And we are here today to discuss the NFC and AFC South divisions. We're going to rank our players. So go ahead and get ready. Pull up fantasynowplus.com. Fact check us. Make sure that we're following our rankings. Before I get into the show, I just want to say this, Justin, I know you're in the back. I cannot wait for this show, buddy. Bring yourself in here, but first, play the intro music.
You're watching the Fantasy Recap, only on Fantasy Now Plus.
We did it. It only took till June 30th, but we got a seamless introduction with this.
We did it
format.
like 2 weeks ago, too. I don't want to hear that. We did it 2 weeks ago. We just didn't do it last week because Justin was very depressed last week. So
it's okay. It's okay. I'm exhausted today. I'm very, very, very exhausted. I'm very, very tired. I did a lot of walking yesterday and Saturday. So how are you? How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. All things considered, our kitchen looks nice and new and fancy, and spent some money on getting new countertops and a new sink, and now I feel like I'm living my rich life.
Look at that, Rich Justin. For everybody funneling in here today, if you didn't catch the topic up the front, we will be doing the NFC and AFC South division rankings. I have my rankings right here, right? I'm a paper guy. I'm almost to my 40s, so I still use paper. And if you want to follow along, fantasynowplus.com, our rankings are on there as well. Mine are pulled straight from the rankings. There's nothing else. So these are written in stone for now. But we do have some big news. We have some interesting news, kind of, right? We have a trade that happened 30 minutes ago, right before the show. So Justin, do you have those details in front of you?
Yeah. So Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey are both heading to the Pittsburgh Steelers for Minkah Fitzpatrick in a late round draft pick in return. Jonnu Smith is signing a 1-year, $12 million deal as a prove-it deal, and Jalen Ramsey is getting $1.5 million added to his contract to bring him to $26.6 million for this year. So Steelers spending big. Send away Minkah Fitzpatrick, who I think at this time is a bit better than Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, yeah.
And they lose the draft pick. But they get Jonnu Smith, who is reunited with Arthur Smith.
Yes. I don't hate this for the Steelers. It is what it is. You're getting Jonnu Smith. He's a little bit older, on the older side. But you mentioned already, he has some familiarity with, he's older. He's like, what, 29, 28? Yeah. I mean, if you read the comments, Josh doesn't like anyone over the age of 25.
I mean, tight ends last until like 35 years old. Elite tight ends, and we all know how we feel about Jonnu
tight ends. Yeah, he's sure.
He could be elite over there. Year. He's gonna be elite.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm into it. I love Jonnu Smith, and I think this is great for Aaron Rodgers. I think this is good for the Steelers. I think this is fine. But again, Jamie, I was gonna say it right there. This says more to me on the Dolphins side of things. In the chat, Jamie just said, who does this trade benefit and why is it Waddle? It should be Waddle. It could be Waddle if Waddle ever gets back to his form of his rookie season. But he hasn't been that way in a long time.
But apparently those are word on the street is that Kyle Pitts might end up in Miami.
Those are rumors. We don't know what's going to happen. We can't talk about it until it actually does happen. But if Kyle Pitts does head to Miami, I will be excited, and all my trades for him will finally pay off, or they will not.
Oh wait, no, he was in Miami. He's in Florida. Never mind.
We'll see. But I will. They're close. Atlanta, Miami. It's like 5-6 hours drive.
No. I was thinking. For some reason, I was thinking Kyle Pitts, Miami Hurricane, not Florida Gator.
Oh no, Florida Gator. Yeah. Florida Gator. But yes, Waddle, I think, could take a huge step up in this if he is used correctly. I don't think he's been used correctly in this offense since McDaniels has taken over as the head coach. I think that Waddle is, I guess Tyreek is in his way. And I don't know how to explain it any other way than that. They play the same game. They're fast, they're speed, they like to get down the field. But every time Waddle goes over the middle, we've talked about this many times on this podcast and everywhere else in this world, When he gets hit, he falls to the ground, rolls around like a soccer player. He's stretchered off the field. Sleeper deems him out. And then the very next drive, he's back on the field. Repeat. And it's just, I don't know if Waddle is really, really tough enough to do this over the center, over the middle contact kind of player. He needs to get back on the streaky routes like what Tyreek does. But until Tyreek's gone, that's what Waddle's going to be. Unfortunately. Prove me wrong. Waddle in that Miami Dolphins offense, please, because I would love to use Waddle again. I'm so sick of having Waddle on my bench in dynasty leagues because he's unusable. He's been unusable for the past 2 years. That's Dolphins. That's my Dolphins talk. Fins Talk Sports Network. We're live over there, just in case you didn't know. Fins Talk Sports Network on YouTube. Also FantasyNow Plus on YouTube. Subscribe to both channels, please, and like and pass it along to a friend, because the more we grow, the more we could do more shows for you guys, and the more we can get more content out. We're up to 613 subs. We were like 600 last week, so that's 13 in a week. Thank you to everyone that's new. I appreciate you all. Do you want to get right into the rankings?
Yeah, I just remembered that Sean specifically asked us to do something, and I didn't do it at 12 o'clock, and I'm doing it now. So, but here are the rankings.
Well, these aren't the rankings. These are a spreadsheet that Justin
Correct.
created. I could not figure out how to do this if you even gave me $1 million. So I'm sure this was very simple for you to put together. But last week we just had a list and we just entered in players. No. Now we're official. We have names on the side, and we're going to rank players 1 through 10 again. And we're not going to take as much time as we did last week. So Pat F is dead in fantasy now. He is. Pat Fryermuth, yes. And if we did the North Show last week, and we had Andrews. I can't think of the other people's names now.
It's all right there. It's all right there.
There it is. Yeah, Hawkinson, Andrews, Laporta, Njoku. I'd probably slide in Jonnu right under Laporta.
Right under Laporta. Interesting.
Right
in the
under
David
Laporta.
Njoku tier or in the Hawkinson, Andrews, Laporta tier?
No. In the Njoku tier. He'd be with Njoku and Kraft.
So like right about here.
Yeah, right there. More on the bottom side of it than the top side of it.
Here.
Like right there. Yeah, like right
there. Above Njoku though? Okay.
Yeah, like right there.
Interesting.
Right there.
Interesting.
That's where would you put him?
I think I'd put him just under Njoku.
Okay.
But in
under
that
Njoku.
In that tier.
All right. Fair enough. Last week I was told by a colleague of ours that our rankings were brutal. That's fine. Yes. We all have our separate rankings, right? I'm not going to try to butcher these rankings, though, guys. These are going to be perfect. I promise. These are going to be the best rankings of all time. So let's start with the quarterback position. Are you putting Anthony Richardson number 1? Are we putting him number 1? No. I kid.
God,
last year this time, we would probably say CJ Stroud. 1000%. We would say CJ Stroud is the best quarterback in the AFC and NFC South. This year,
but our boy Baker,
we're going Baker. Baker's 101
right there. Baker.
He's the best quarterback in this in these two divisions. He has the most total quarterback touchdowns in the past 2 years over Josh Allen, over Lamar Jackson, over Mahomes. He's the number 1 quarterback in as touchdown scoring goes in the past 2 years. That's insane. No one who would have known. He is losing Liam Cohen, which we'll bring up his name again later when we talk Trevor Lawrence. But Baker Mayfield is easily the 101 to me. I'm afraid for a fall off, though. I'm afraid that eventually things are going to go south. Don't you think?
We're afraid of a fall off every year. We
always are.
Josh, just go back and look at all of our videos. We said Baker will never do this again, and he continues to prove us wrong. QB10 QB10 in the year where all the quarterbacks were injured. And we're like, 14 quarterbacks were injured. He's like a QB 20 in this league. And then he follows it up with QB 4.
Yeah.
4,500 yards. He never has thrown for 4,500 yards in his career. He's only thrown for 4,000 passing yards while being a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. And he's never thrown under 4,000 yards. It's crazy.
Baker would be out of the NFL. if he didn't have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin in the offensive coordinators he's had in the last 2 years. Liam Cohen, and I'm forgetting the name of the Panthers head coach right now. Oh my gosh. Once we say it, we're going to go, oh, that guy. Those are two amazing offensive minded coaches, especially Liam Cohen. So we're going to see what happens with the new offensive coordinator. That's been Baker's story. He's had all these offensive coordinators. I feel like every single year he gets a new one. So at least he's got a comfortable nucleus with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and they added Emeka Mbuka. And plus, they have a top 5 offensive line in the league. Keep your quarterback clean. Your quarterback should do well. So anyway, we're spending too much time on Baker. Who's number 2?
This is where I think it's CJ Stroud, because I think this is the tier break is CJ Stroud right here.
Yeah, I can agree with that. He had a down year last year. Nico Collins missed about 3 to 4 games. Tank Dell, we know what happened to him. And Stephon Diggs also went down early. CJ Stroud's getting a lot of hate, I feel like. And I'm not on social media much, so I'm not seeing much. But the stuff I do see is like, oh, is he really that good? He really struggled. Well, guys, he lost everyone around him. Everyone. Nico was there, obviously, at the end of the year. Nico's awesome. We'll talk about him later. But I think he just needs more than just Nico Collins to succeed. They still made the playoffs, did they not? It was just a very, very down year. And it was very hard to duplicate what he did in his rookie season. He's going to be fine. Yes, a Christian Kirk will help too when healthy. Of course he will, Chris. So yes, great point on that one. We can't expect – I hate this. Mahomes comes out his first season, throws 50 bajillion touchdowns. We expect it to happen every year. It's impossible to duplicate such greatness season after season after season. He fell down to quarterback 16 last year. I think it was 17, somewhere in that range, behind Aaron Rodgers, by the way. And it's fine. He could bounce back up. Herbert did the same thing. Herbert fell off, and now he's back up. We need to give these guys time before we just throw them in the trash. I feel like we do that too much with athletes in general these days.
Yeah, I agree.
You have nothing to add?
I have nothing to add.
This mother effer. All right. Well, you know what? I'll let you rank 3. I'll let you just take 3.
Okay. So from here, I think you got to look at Michael Penix Jr., Trevor Lawrence range. I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence here.
All right.
Just for the sheer factor that I think this is its own tier here. And then I think we start getting into the young and unproven guys.
So Trevor Lawrence, the only note I wrote for Trevor Lawrence is he added Liam Cohen, Duval,
and Travis Hunter.
If we all remember. And Travis Hunter as well, of course. But Cohen is the piece of the pie. I remember, because I'm locally here, when it was all happening, Cohen declined the job in Jacksonville. And everyone here was like, yeah, we're keeping the GOAT. Fire Todd Bowles and give this guy the job. That's what the 99% of the narrative was here in Tampa Bay. Fire Todd Bowles, give Liam Cohen the job. Liam Cohen turned down the job. Everyone was like, yeah, Todd Bowles is a lame duck. He's going to get fired after this season no matter what. Didn't happen. Cohen ignored the Buccaneers' phone calls. He was a snake and went behind their backs and took the Jacksonville Jaguar job after saying he wasn't going to do it. And I'm here for it, buddy. Do you. Take care of yourself. He's going to be phenomenal with this Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. and Trevor Lawrence. And Travis Etienne is going to have a bounce back season this year. I'm super hyped for Trevor Lawrence. Again, don't hurt me again, Trevor. But yes, 3, I could easily see him being second on this list.
I don't think he finishes as a top 12 QB. I don't think we're back there at this point yet, but I do think he finishes as a starting quarterback in super flex leagues. So I think he finishes as a top 16 quarterback this year.
I guess on our bold take, so I guess I should say I have him finishing top 6, and you're going to be like, well, that's bold. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty bold.
6?
I can easily, I don't have him there now. I'm saying bold takes, buddy. When our bold take show happens, I'm high on Trevor Lawrence again. He's going to fool me for the 4th time in a row. I'm here for him.
You think he's going to be the highest he's ever been in his career in year 5?
I do. I think Liam Cohen knows how to get
the most out of their quarterback. That's
most
fair.
out of their team, most out of their offense.
I guess I would say that Trevor Lawrence, in theory, should be better than Baker Mayfield. It's supposed to be the guy, the best draft prospect since Andrew Luck. I guess he should finish this high with a coach that is Liam Cohen that got the most out of Baker Mayfield. So in theory, this should
let's
work.
see if ownership and management will get out of their way, because it's one of the worst ownership in all sports.
I'm just gonna say that everybody expected Anthony Richardson to be great because of what Shane Steichen did with Jalen Hurts, but that didn't happen. So
we'll get to Anthony Richardson. I'm sure we'll get to him later, around 7-8.
maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
Maybe. then I'm okay with putting Michael Penix in here at 4.
Yeah.
Just for the but I look back, man, his accuracy. He needs to work on that. He's below 60% completion percentage, which you don't want to see in your quarterback, especially these days. He only had 1 week. He only played 3 full games, by the way. Week 16, 17, 18. Week 18, by the way, in case you didn't know, doesn't count towards your fantasy season ever. And it shouldn't. And if you play week 18, what are you doing? That was his best game. So his best game didn't count for you at all if you even started him. Week 16, he scored 7.4. Week 17, 12.2. I understand he was a rookie following up, Kirk Cousins getting in there. But he looked fine. He has the arm. He could throw the ball deep, but he didn't look competent at all. So I'm really worried about Michael Penix, and people are going hard on him in Dynasty right now. They're adding him for so much. The trade value is at least what I've seen. So I'd be wary on him. We've only seen 3 full games.
Trade value is definitely high on him right now. Yes, you can't count 18 as part of your fantasy season. However, week 18 did exist. Those are real stats. Those are real production numbers for a player heading into his second season, first hopeful season of actually starting the whole season. So I think progressively he got better each week. Now will he get better this coming season and prove that he can start in the NFL, and he is the guy that they spent the 8th overall pick to acquire.
It's also and again, I'm not trash on Michael Penix because I'm the one who's adding him as well. I'm going heavy on him. Week 18 against Carolina, they pretty much mailed it in. That was his best game against a bad team. Mailed in week 18. Nobody cared. Both teams were playing for nothing. That does matter to me, because guess what, guys? It happens all the time in fantasy where a player goes off at the end of the season.
Bryce Young scored 36.5 points that game too.
Oh, we'll get to Bryce Young.
It wasn't a complete mail-in. They were both scoring like it was.
We'll get to Bryce Young. Don't worry.
Life.
We'll get to Bryce Young. We'll get to Bryce. All right. So who do you have after Penix? Bryce. I know you do.
Go to the running backs. Okay. So we talked about Baker, CJ, and Michael Penix. Oh, and Trevor Lawrence. Now it's gross.
Gross.
So if we want to talk about, the potential here of who should have a better season, who progressively got better last season and should take another step, I think that is Bryce Young. I think I want to put Bryce Young here, just because they continue to add to that offense. They got Tet McMillan. They just drafted Tet McMillan. They added, they still have Adam Thielen. They still got Xavier Legette. They got Chuba. They added Rico Dowdle. They drafted Trevor Etienne. They still have Jonathan Brooks, who we have not seen play more than a couple snaps, which at this point, who knows? So I think Bryce Young has the ability to take a step up this year. We'll see.
I do think that he's going to level up again this year. He was benched in week 2, came back week 8 fully. In weeks 8 through 17, he was a quarterback 16. I thought he was higher. People talked about him like he had some renaissance where he was just lighting it on fire, like some kind of Justin Fields random 6-game fire. It wasn't at all. He was just, it's sad that when your quarterback 16 and you average 16.7 is pretty good, but that's amazing for him. That just tells you how bad he was. It just tells you how bad he was. People were getting hyped for his mediocre plays, which is fine. I'm here for it. I'm glad that he's back. I'm glad that he actually did well and it showed improvement. But let's not act like he set the house on fire when he did come back. In that stretch, though, from weeks 8 to 17, he did outperform fantasy points per game, Caleb Williams and Drake May. So keep that in mind. He did outperform those players the second half of the season. So that's pretty good. I'm here for it. But again, it's I want to see a full season. I don't want to see a couple games. So yes.
Well, I mean,
4
we
is fine
saw
for me.
from 8 to 18 last week with with Bryce Young, and after he got benched for 5 games, he came back in and kind of
from
tore it
8
up.
to from 8 to 17. I looked it up already. I already know that he was a quarterback 16. He was the middle of the pack quarterback when he came back. He was right in the middle.
Starter.
If we can so Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. As long as you can admit it. You want to go to the next guys?
I go.
These next guys are all crap. These
go
these next
Cam
three
Ward
are
here
all
at
bottom.
this
Yeah,
point.
don't care.
I
Cam
agree.
Ward.
Cam
Ward. Just because of potential. Just because. I've already seen Anthony Richardson play football.
I don't like Cam Ward's opportunity here. Like, he has Calvin Ridley and Tony Pollard. Like, that's it. Like, they didn't get better. The Titans team still sucks. That still is a bad organization, a bad head coach, bad everything right now. And I think they're still in a rebuild, and I don't think they've added enough to make the number 1 draft pick successful this year. I think it's similar to a Bryce Young situation where he comes in with all of these expectations, but has absolutely no one around him. And he could finish as QB 23 this year, which I guess is still a starter in Superflex, but I don't know. They're going to be playing a lot of games back down, so maybe they throw the ball a lot.
Now these next two, because this is brush these next two, because we all know Anthony Richardson to me is. I should put so for this. I'll
do we
spoil
just do
them.
like Colts QB and Saints QB here?
That's
like,
exactly what I did
do?
for 8. For 8, I just put Saints quarterback, and for 7, I put AR5. But it could be Daniel Jones.
I think it's Daniel Jones week 1. I really do think it will be Daniel Jones.
Oh, do you?
Yep.
Do you?
Roll the tape. Roll the tape.
If you want to, we can. What episode was that? What episode was
know.
second? I don't know.
Probably
I've been telling.
every episode.
Why does nobody listen? I understand why. I'm not going to get into it, but everything I say in the show comes true eventually. Eventually,
it's fine.
It's cool. Will Howard, right? Remember him? Cool. Let's go to the running back situation.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Oh, you sound so happy. Easy. First 2 are easy to me.
Yeah, I think it's Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, that's without a doubt. Just such a he's not probably the number 1 or 2 in the entire league. So without a doubt, no need, no explanation. If you guys need me to sell you on Bijan Robinson,
it's the 2 of them. Like, in my opinion, it's Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs.
I mean, you could put other guys up there too. Come on,
you can. But like those. Oh, and Saquon Barkley. Those are the 3.
Yeah, and those are my favorite, obviously top 3.
Yeah.
All right, but this is where it gets interesting because you can go your favorite running back, your hometown guy, or we can go the guy where I live. Which one did you want to go to? I already know
if we're looking between Bucky Irving and Jonathan Taylor, I think you still have to put Jonathan Taylor because he is the running back for the Indianapolis Colts. Okay. Whereas in Tampa, you still have Bucky and you still have Rashad White
and Sean Tucker.
And like, so, I mean, it is a running back committee there. So you're going to split up your carries. Whereas in Indy, if Jonathan Taylor's healthy, Jonathan Taylor's playing.
I am not going to argue with you at all. I personally have Bucky Irvin as my number 2 running back in this division, strictly because I think that he's on a better football team who's going to score more fantasy football points and more points in general. They have a top 5 offensive line. From weeks 10 to 17, Bucky Irvin was a running back 7, which was better than any running back on this list besides Bijan Robinson. Per player profiler, of course, he was top 5 in juke rate, evaded tackles, yards created per touch. He's just slippery. He likes to get skinny, can get in between holes. He could pass catch. He is going to be their ultimate weapon coming up the season, and we're going to see Rashad White fade away into the background. It's just the way it is. So yeah, I can see. I like both of these players. You could interchange them 2 and 3. Next one's tough for me because I didn't want to do it.
I think there's a tier break here because I'll put Bucky up there with Bijan and Jonathan Taylor. I mean, if you've been watching this show since Bucky Irving was a rookie and before he even played a snap in the NFL, we were big fans of Bucky Irving. The thing that will suck for me this year on our Tuesday waiver shows is that I won't get to talk about Bucky Irving because he should be rostered in 100% of the leagues. And I'll never get to talk about him again on that show because we talked
he
about him
will be.
3 times last year.
I don't think there's a tier break. I think the tier break was Bijan Robinson, and then we break it.
Oh, you think it's here? Oh,
I think the tier breaks here.
That's fair.
I think this person, if you're on the same page as me, someone I dropped week 1 last year.
Oh, you're saying there's a tier break after this player?
Yes.
That you're about to talk about.
I dropped this player after week 1. He plays for the Carolina Panthers. Miles Sanders was getting I had Chuba Hubbard there as my running back score. I think he is in this. People are so down on him because of the Jonathan Brooks situation, because it's Chuba Hubbard, right? He wasn't supposed to be the guy. He's not supposed to be there. He's not supposed to be the running back in that role. He went from a 3.8 yards per carry in 2023 to a 4.8 last year. This guy has improved his game so much. And just because of his name and because of Jonathan Brooks and because of all the situations you want to talk about, he is being undervalued and underdrafted. 8 of his games, he finished as a running back 12 or better. He only had 4 single-digit games last season. Only 4 bust games. That's hard to do at the running back position, especially on a team that does not score a lot of points at the Carolina Panthers. They also I was going to bring that up too. They also extended Hubbard's contract. Hubbard belongs in this Bucky Irvin and Jonathan Taylor tier to me. I think he is the guy there. He has proved it. He is the American dream. He went over there. He wasn't supposed to be the starter. He worked his ass off, and he became a superstar. Draft this man in confidence. I love him. He belongs up there with those 3 or those other 2.
I don't hate that. The next tier I'm going to call as the veterans that still get it done. And I think that's Joe Mixon and Alvin Kamara. And I think you can place this either way.
For this season, though, in particular, you got to put Kamara there, right? He's going to be the safety net. He's going to be the dump off.
Got to be the safety net.
I think Alvin Kamara is right there at my number 5. At my number 5, specifically for those reasons. Inexperienced quarterbacks, a lot of dump offs, a lot of rushing attempts. I think that Kamara has still got it until he does not. I'm going to keep on riding with him until his legs fall off.
And you'd be right. I mean, at 29, you'd think this man's got to fall off at some point, right? But he has never finished. He has finished under RB12 once in his career, and that was in 2022 when he only played 15 games. He finished as RB16, which is still a starting running back in fantasy. He has never finished under that. He's only finished in double digits twice, 2022 and 2023. Again, missed time in both seasons. But he's also only played 1 full season, and that was his rookie year. Every year, he's missed at least a game, and he's still finishing in the top end of running backs. He finishes RB9 last year. Now you're going to get a team, and that was missing 3 games at the end of the season. Now you're going to get a team that has a rookie quarterback coming in or a sophomore quarterback that is basically a rookie quarterback fighting for that number 1 spot. Chris Olave and his concussions, we don't know how that's going to actually go this year. Will Chris Olave be healthy? No Taysom Hill taking up random running back reps because he's on the injured reserve, and I think he's out for the entire season. So you got Juwan Johnson and wrong team. And it's Alvin Kamara. He is the offense.
It's going to be a nightmare. Be a nightmare. All right. So Joe Mixon, same kind of situation. I like Joe Mixon, but he kind of fell off last year, second half of the season, which worries me going into this season. Again, their whole team fell off the face of the planet. Everyone on that team was a very, very underwhelming talent. But Joe Mixon, I think with the running backs we have left, you're talking about Pollard, Dowdle, Etienne. I trust Joe Mixon to get the job done because of who he is, right? He's had 200 plus carries dating back to 2021 in every single season. He's only had less than 200 carries twice in his career, 2017, 2020. So we know he can get the job done on the ground. His yard per carry is consistently at 3.9 or 4.2 or somewhere in between those. And he's always getting catches. Last year was his lowest year at his receptions at 36 since 2020. So if they utilize him in the receiving game, like he's always been utilized with the Bengals, he can get back up there. He only played 14 games last season. I'm still into Joe Mixon, but he's not in that top tier talent like he used to be.
Yeah, from week 6 through 13, I say those weeks specifically because they had their bye week in 14, and that team fell off after that, scoring 10, 8, 5, and 3. And then he was injured for weeks 3 through 5. He had a 26.8 week in week 1, which was huge. But weeks 6 through 13, he was the RB2, only behind Saquon Barkley last year. That was an insane run. And if you had Joe Mixon at that time, you probably got set up for the playoffs and then immediately failed because you banked on Joe Mixon having a great postseason for you. But yeah,
Yep,
I would put Joe Mixon
unfortunately.
here.
All right. So how many more we got left?
I think next year we got Tony Pollard. He had a down year last year as RB21, but again, just kind of like Alvin Kamara, he's got to be a safety net for Cam Ward with the dump offs. He had 57 targets in the receiving game last year. He had the most rushing attempts in his career. He had the most rushing yards in his career last year. So I think he takes a step up from RB21 and gets back closer to that RB14 to 16 range that he was in Dallas.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I'll let you put Pollard there. I'm not mad at it. Because I guess that's where I have him as well as I'm looking at my list. Now I have a backup running back as my next guy, a backup running back, and he plays for Carolina. But I'm going to give you a chance. Do you think any of these other running backs on this list that we have not covered yet is better than Rico Dowdle? No, no objections. No Trevor. No ETN. No Tyler. No Tajay Spears. We even have Dowdle on our list.
No, I'm worried about Travis Etienne for the specifics of the fact that they just drafted another running back and they really leaned on Tate Bigsby last year a lot. But again, new offensive coordinator, who knows what Liam Cohen's going to do. Tajay Spears has proven that he might just be a good running back in Tennessee in a 2-back system. Rachaad White, like we said, might fade off into the existence.
Yep. So if we're going by strictly the players on this list, I'd put.
No, it's fine. We can. I didn't include him. Rico Dowdle could go there.
Yeah, I will. In this at this point, we're just grabbing, unfortunately, backup players or secondary players. But Rico Dowdle really showed up against or for the Giants last year, or not Giants. Oh my goodness, I can't speak right now. For the Cowboys last year, I don't understand why he went away. He rushed for over 1,000 yards. He had almost 50 targets. He was serviceable. Like he was 12th in rushing. I think he's a decent player. I think he's going to be a good secondary backup player role for Chuba Hubbard. I think he's going to be talked about on the waiver show with you about if you have some random wide receiver you're holding on to that's doing nothing, get rid of him and grab your backup to Chuba Hubbard because this guy can step right in and do what Chuba Hubbard's doing. Not to the extent of Chuba Hubbard, but he's competent enough where he can play football. Not understanding why Dallas let him go. Not understanding this at all. And I think a lot of the fantasy community is not understanding this move, but it is what it is.
Yeah, agreed. Do we want to just move over to the wide receivers?
Of course we can, yeah.
Okay. I threw in Tajay Spears and Travis Etienne there at the end, but
that's totally fine.
Wide receivers. So we're looking at Brian Thomas Jr., Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin, Chris Olave, Drake London, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman Jr., Mike Evans, Nico Collins, and Travis Hunter. We did have some discussions right before the show. Where's Ted McMillan? Does Xavier Legette make it to this list? You are looking at this correct. We did not include a Panthers wide receiver. Because I think 10 here are, I would rather have all of these guys. Well,
I don't know if I'd rather have all these guys, but I'm not going to argue with you.
In redraft, how we are looking at this right now, we're not talking about dynasty. We're talking about redraft, I believe, right? Is that what we're talking about with these rankings? What is this season going to be? I'm not sure about Tet yet. In dynasty, yes. I think dynasty Tet is on this list for sure. But I don't know about this year.
All right. Well, without burying the lead, are we going Nico Collins or Brian Thomas Jr. number 1? It's got to be one of those two. And I'm going to let you decide.
You don't think it's Drake London?
Could be Drake London. It could be Drake London.
Drake London
I
finished
have a
wide receiver 5 last year with bad Kirk Cousins.
Oh, I was going to say that. Yeah, he was 3rd in the NFL in the red zone targets. He had 100 receptions, and I wrote with Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix.
Despite Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix, he had 100 receptions.
I'm in for Drake London being 1, but I don't think it's the case. I don't think it is.
You don't think it's Drake London?
I think it's Brian Thomas Jr. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is the best receiver in this division or this. You could put. I told you could put London there. I agree with that. I said I'm not going to go back on my. I'm not going back on my word. Put London there. That's fine. I love London. I just have him at 3. I got Brian Thomas Jr. at 1, and then I got Nico at 2. So I have London at 3. Yes, London crushed it. Jamie in the chat. London had 35% target share with Penix and 40%. Yes, I'm all for him.
If the Falcons get rid of Kyle Pitts also, which is expected at some point before the season starts, I mean, that even just adds to Drake London's target share. I mean,
of course.
So I do agree. Brian Thomas Jr. is a very, very good wide receiver. We have talked many of times of what Travis Hunter is going to do for Brian Thomas Jr. and getting him open this season. Just Drake London's.
It's not even just. I'm not. It's a South show, so we're gonna bring multiple names up multiple times. But we saw what Liam Cohen did with Chris Godwin and with Mike Evans, and when those players got injured, we saw what happened with Sterling Shepard and K-Dot and secondary players that shouldn't even be in the league anymore or not have a starting role. So you already have a Brian Thomas Jr. who came out to be the best rookie in the entire draft.
Yeah.
And now he's with an offensive coordinator, and he's in a situation where he got someone on the other side of him that could take targets away. I just don't see how Brian Thomas Jr. fails. But again, I'm the biggest fan of no one's ever going to do what they did their best season. Like this might be it.
I forgot Brian Thomas finishes wide receiver 4, and if I'm standing on the business of Drake London finishes wide receiver 5, I have to put Brian Thomas Jr. ahead of Drake London. So,
but I'm okay with London because I think London's probably the safer pick.
I think in the end of the day, Drake London being there, but I do agree. I think Brian Thomas is better. Like I do. Again, I do think
here. If you want my final assessment on these 2 players in particular, I think London's a safer pick, and he's going to be in there from weeks 1 through 17 or 18 if you play all the way to 18. And I think he's going to give you consistent weeks of like 18, 19, and his stinkers are going to be like 11, 12. The safest player. I think Brian Thomas Jr. gives you that upside of the big Jamar Chase games. And again, London has those too. Don't get it twisted. London is a superstar. But I think Brian Thomas Jr. gives you that more of an electric feel, especially with that new offensive coordinator and that new offense. It's hard to judge Jacksonville because we haven't seen them play with this new system they're going to run out there. Hell, Brian Thomas Jr. might go, I don't feel like reading this new playbook. Travis Hunter might be, I'm too big for this. They're human beings. Trevor Lawrence might go, I'm done. I made my money. He said it in his pre-draft prep. Josh Wingate brings us all the time. He's not that passionate about football or winning. That's what Trevor Lawrence said, allegedly, apparently. He might not care. That being said, Brian Thomas Jr. is the best athlete on this list, to me. And we can go London. And then we can go Nico Collins. Nico Collins might be, I'm talking a lot, by the way. Sorry. But Nico Collins might be the best receiver. He missed weeks 6 through 10. Despite missing that, he still went for 68 catches, over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns in very limited in 12 games. He finished 17.8 fantasy points per game. He is elite. These are 3 elite athletes we're talking about right here. So I'm not mad if any of these guys are 1. Just want to throw that out there.
Well, let's talk about the next tier, which can consist of several different players, including Chris Olave, who we just talked about with concussions, Chris Godwin's, Josh Downs, and Mike Evans. I think is that tier.
It's hard. It's hard, man. Is Mike Evans going to continue being elite? He's almost 30.
Mike
He's going to be
Evans.
32 years old.
Will Mike Evans have
Um,
another 1,000-yard season?
Yeah, and he did it in 14 games last year, 74 catches, 1,000 yards. Like he actually outperformed Nico Collins in his stat line with the same amount. I like Mike Evans actually. Actually, Mike Evans had 2 more games. My bad. Sorry, guys. I do like Mike Evans here, but again, it's Hunter. Is it Hunter? Is it Travis Hunter? Like, what if it's Travis Hunter? We haven't seen him play it down in the NFL. We don't know. Like, he could be the surprise. He could be the guy who's like, I'm here. I'm the best. I was picked in the top 5 in the NFL draft.
I was picked in the top 2 of the NFL draft.
Well, I know, but I said top 5. You know, it's generally. But if Brian Thomas Jr. wasn't on this list, would he be in the top 3? Would he?
I don't think so. I don't know why I think that. Like we all know, big fan of Travis Hunter right now, with his landing spot. But we don't know. That's the thing. We don't know.
But we can project.
We
saw what happened last year.
We didn't put Ted McMillan on this list because we don't know. Well, we also know that team is building up, which is also what the Jaguars are doing. But Ted McMillan is drafted to basically be the wide receiver 1. Travis Hunter is expected to be the second best player in that wide receiver position. But with Brian Thomas Jr. being on the opposite side, that really does free up Travis Hunter. You can't double both.
I think it's Travis Hunter here. But again, I will defer to you.
You know, we'll go Travis Hunter because, again, will Mike Evans do it for a 12th straight season?
At 32
years old. Yeah.
32. He's going to be 32 in a couple months. He'll be 32 when the season starts. And guys, I'm 39. I know I've been there. I know the roads. It sucks when you're 32.
Mike Evans seems so old, and I'm older than Mike Evans.
Of course. So, and then after Travis Hunter, I'm comfortable putting old busted, Mr. 1000, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest wide receivers in our generation, Big Mike Evans. I'm easily putting him there after Travis Hunter.
And then here, do you go with broken leg Chris Godwin? Do you go Chris Olave? Do you go Josh Downs? Ridley? Like, is there a tier break here? Is Travis Hunter its own tier?
Yeah, he probably is.
I kind of think Travis Hunter's his own tier.
Yeah.
I mean, this is literally like exactly like last week where we had T. Higgins had his own tier at 4. So it's
pretty similar. So then I could go Olave. I made a short about Olave. I still believe in Olave. I think Olave is a great talent. Concussions happen and it's awful and it could derail an entire season. He's a reception machine. He gets on the field and plays football. And when he does play football, he's elite. He's one of those guys. But again, the quarterback situation's way too bad. I don't want to talk about the Saints or the receivers. I don't want to roster the Saints receivers this year. So I don't know if I could put Olave up there.
I can't put Chris Olave that high. Because not just the concussions, just that is a huge part, but also just that quarterback situation is just, we don't know. Like Tyler Shuck might suck. And who knows? I mean, Spencer Rattler, whatever. Josh Downs on a very bad team last year did very well, and they're still a bad team. But he is in my opinion, Josh Downs is the wide receiver 1 in Indy. Like he is the better wide receiver in Indy over him, Michael Pittman Jr.
Oh, for sure.
And if you add Daniel Jones, what did Daniel Jones do with Malik Neighbors? Did they play together? No, they didn't play together, did they?
Listen,
who was the quarterback for the Giants last year?
It was Daniel Jones, and then it was a bunch of people.
Scrubs.
Let me see this.
You pick.
I'll bring some clarity to this. It's Chris Godwin. We got to stop overthinking it. This guy was. It is. This guy before his injury was tied with Jamar Chase as the wide receiver 1 in all of fantasy football. Chris Godwin, they're saying, you have to go by what they're saying, not what you think. They're saying he will be ready for week 1. He will be a full go for week 1. That's what they're saying right now on June 30th, 2025. You have to put Chris Godwin there because Chris Godwin has proven it for years and years and years that he is a solid number 2. And when given the chance and the opportunity, and when given the correct role, which he was finally given last year from, I guess, name of the show, Liam Cohen, he became one of the most elite receivers in the league. And if they follow that, just follow it halfway, he will still be up there as one of the most elite receivers because of his pass catching and because of what he can do. He is not Jalen Waddle. It will take him a dislocated ankle to miss games. He's tough. He's a great guy. It shouldn't matter, but Chris Godwin for me is right there above Josh Downs. Then I could put Josh Downs.
All right, we'll put Josh Downs next. Oh, wait. Josh Downs, then Chris Olave.
I was talking about Chris Godwin. We're not talking Chris Godwin? I'm not. I have you so minimized. I can't see this.
Chris Godwin, Josh Downs, Chris Olave.
Okay.
And then
I'm down with that.
You're down to Calvin Ridley and Michael Pittman Jr., which I'm just going to put Michael Pittman Jr. at 10 and Calvin Ridley at 9.
That makes sense. I'm here for that.
Have wide receiver 1 on their team as the 10th best wide receiver in the.
It's just because their offense, and then we're down on him. He's going to surprise us. Ridley's going to be better than what we think. It's just gross right now.
I'll start with Pittman, but tight ends, we got Britton Strange, K-Dot, and Chigoziem Okonkwo, Dalton Schultz, Jatavian Sanders, Juwan Johnson, Kyle Pitts, and Tyler Warren.
Might be the worst. Well, we haven't gone through them all yet, but might be the worst region for tight ends in the history of the world. So I didn't waste my time. I put Warren at 1 just because of the potential. And I think that's going to, yeah, sure. Kyle Pitts at 2, but if he's still there, right?
If he's still there, but right now he is. So,
and then it's like, what do you do?
Like Britton Strange, like,
no. See,
do we rank the rest?
Can we just put in A? Can we put in A? I'm down with that.
No, we have to rank these guys. I mean, okay, if you're in a draft right now, we're in a draft right now. You have to draft a tight end, and these are your options. Who are you drafting?
Chig.
You're drafting Chig? Okay.
Yeah.
So
this is for the people watching right now. I promise y'all, none of these players should be drafted or will be drafted in any of your home leagues.
Honestly,
or
any of your the only one that I would maybe draft, but not as my tight end 1. Like he would be a backup if there's literally no one else. Okay, draft Chig. But at this point, okay, Britton Strange, K-Dot, Dalton Schultz, Jatavian Sanders, Juwan Johnson. Like, who do you like next?
Britton Strange, just for the Liam Cohen. Make that a sound
exactly. For Liam Cohen.
Yeah. He's gonna be guys. That's gonna be a trend all season long. Don't get used to it. Duval.
Now at this point, Juwan Johnson I think goes here. Finishes tight end 17. The last 3 years he's finished as 15, 26, and 17. There is no Taysom Hill taking away his targets this year. So Juwan Johnson theoretically should be there. Again, we always say the rookie's safety net is the tight end position. Actually, I'm going to put a tier break here because I think that's where it is. After this, I think Dalton Schultz, K-Dot, and Jatavian Sanders. Like, is that it?
Oh yeah. That's for sure. I would definitely. That's exactly how I'd rank those. Exactly. Even though I did not rank them, that's not a lie. I did 4. I went Warren, Pitch. I went Chig. Then I went Schultz. So I have Schultz over Juwan Johnson, but it doesn't matter. I'm not drafting any of the players you see. The only person I will roster in redraft is Tyler Warren, and that's if he falls to like round 12.
No, tell you something? The players you wanted are in this one. Like they're in the north.
This is off topic. But we'll get into it for the last 5 minutes of the show. That's totally fine. I have changed my philosophy on drafting redraft in the past 2 to 3 years. I've noticed a trend where the teams with Josh Allen or the top tier quarterbacks in your redraft, home leagues or casual leagues or whatever it may be, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, the quarterbacks are all, if you just have one of those quarterbacks, you get into the playoffs. That's what I feel lately. So I've changed my strategy where I'm taking Josh Allen like round 3 or Lamar, but it's working. It's working though. Tight ends, I'm doing the same thing, except for I'm swinging and missing. It was Kincaid last year. No, it was Laporta last year. It was Kincaid the year before that. So I quit.
Don't draft Brock Bowers in redraft this year.
No, I quit. I'm quitting doing it. I'm not doing it. And Scott Fishbowl, 0. I'm going the 0 tight end approach. Going 0. Because no matter who I take, we'll suck. No matter what I do.
I took 8 tight ends.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you did.
I did.
And if you drafted Scott Fishbowl,
I drafted 8 tight ends.
If you have already drafted in your Scott Fishbowl, please let us know. Leave comments down below. Who have you drafted? Where did you draft at? Chicago, Cincinnati. I don't know what other places have drafted yet. Orlando, which I'm going to, is drafting July 12th, so I can't wait for that. I still have a couple more weeks. But if you've drafted already, let us know. Who's your favorite pick and how much fun did you have? So are you guys wrapped up? Is your draft wrapped up?
My draft is finished. Yeah, we finished yesterday.
Cool. Can't wait to start.
And then next week we have our Super League show. So we're gonna take a break on our division rankings and talk about the Super League, draft strategies, what to look forward to, fun scoring stuff, all the things for Super League. A big Q&A. So if you have questions about that, be sure to hop in and ask the questions because we're here.
Are we gonna do a mock draft?
If we want to, but
we can just talk Super League and we just talk in general, and we'll have a general Q&A. So mailbag, we can get some questions into. But guys, thank you everyone for watching the show. Jamie, I see you there. Chris, everyone watching, whether it be on Fantasy Now Plus on YouTube or Fins Talk Sports Network, make sure to like and subscribe, share the show, tell your friends about it, join the Discord, chat.fantasynowplus.com. Make sure if you're watching this and you've not picked your division yet or your spot in Super League, do that.
One spot left.
We have 1 spot left, by the way. Really, we only have 1 spot left. This morning you texted me
we have 119 people pick the draft spots so far. We have 1 spot left, and 6 people are currently registered to pick that spot. So if you're not registered, get registered today. I'll send you an invite. You can pick that spot over everyone else.
And Jamie, you are not winning Super League. I'm getting my revenge. I lost the league by 0.04. That ain't happening this year, buddy. We're going to get out of here, though. We'll be back next for Super League content. Until then, appreciate you all. Love you. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.